The film opens with our lead Zohan, who is a lady magnet and an Israeli soldier. After putting his biggest arch-nemesis, Phantom, behind bars, Zohan finally takes some days off and spends them at the beach. Sadly, his vacations don't last long, as he gets called back by the army on a classified mission. When he arrives at the base, his senior officer debriefs him on his urgent mission, which is to recapture Phantom, whom they had previously released in exchange for valuable information. It turns out that Phantom is portrayed as the ultimate villain because he's a Palestinian soldier. At the current debriefing, Zohan realizes deep down that he's being used by the Israeli army as a weapon, due to which he loses his faith and plans on deserting the army. At night, when he's checking out his weapons for the mission, he takes out his personally collected pictures of haircuts, revealing that he is on a pursuit of becoming a famous hairdresser. Even at home, his extremist Jewish parents make fun of him at the dinner table for daring to desert the army to become a hairdresser, which they find very degrading for their son. They casually laugh it off and remind Zohan to take pride in being an Israeli soldier. The next day, Zohan disguises himself as an Arab man along with his assigned partner and drives to Phantom's recently exposed base. There, Zohan takes the lead and effortlessly disassembles the arms of Phantom's men. He eventually finds Phantom, who has the power to walk on the ceiling. Phantom decides to run instead of facing Zohan because he is well aware of his potential and wrath. Zohan doesn't give up on his mission that easily and begins pursuing Phantom in the most comical way. At last, Phantom flees on a jet ski and gets lost in the vast ocean. Zohan hangs onto his jet ski and manages to toss him off it. He has the most hilarious one-on-one battle with Phantom, in which they compete with each other's crotches and play tennis out of nowhere. Amidst all this, Zohan deliberately explodes a bomb and fakes his death because there is an audience waiting for Zohan to capture Phantom. Phantom also flees in excitement and never looks back. While the Israelis declare Zohan dead and mourn the loss of their great hero, Zohan transports himself to America illegally by hiding in a dog's cage in a random airplane's cargo section. As Zohan has a lot of time to kill, he grooms himself and changes his look by cutting off his hair and giving himself the classic Al Pacino Frenchie. Now carrying big dreams, Zohan hails a cab and heads towards the salon where he wants to start his career. His taxi driver indirectly discourages him from pursuing his dreams by admitting that he also came to America with hopes and dreams, not knowing that America, the land of opportunities, isn't in favor of immigrants. Zohan doesn't let his enthusiasm die because of the driver and excitedly introduces himself at the salon, where everyone looks down on him and passes judgmental looks, which shatters his confidence. He practically begs the manager to get hired, but they send him out without seeing his potential. Once widely cheered and celebrated as a hero, Zohan starts feeling like a nobody in America. Instead of sulking in a corner, he gets distracted by an act of injustice. He climbs a passing car like a hero and arrives at the accident site, where a grown adult is wrongfully accusing a boy of hitting his car with his bike. The boy tries to expose the adult for being at fault, but he leans forward to hit him. That's when Zohan intervenes and gives the adult a taste of his medicine by beating some sense into him. The adult changes his tone with Zohan and passes racist remarks, but that doesn't stop Zohan from beating him. The story splits into another timeline, in which we see a Palestinian immigrant named Salim, who is trying to make ends meet by driving a cab and running a customer call service simultaneously. The American women he's driving around turn out to be bigoted and racist for thinking all Muslim immigrants are terrorists. While Salim's customers ditch him in anger, Zohan spots him and uses the biker kid, Michael, as a human shield to hide Salim because he recalls encountering him before and stealing his goat. He quickly runs while carrying Michael on his shoulders. The scenes cut directly to Zohan having dinner with Michael and his mother, Gail. He lies to them about being Australian, whereas his Middle Eastern accent gives away his real identity. Michael discusses with his mother about Zohan not having a place to stay, so she suggests renting the room above their apartment. As soon as Michael heads to the kitchen to clean dishes after dinner, Zohan does the deed with Gail, which he refers to as sticky. When Michael mistakenly walks in on them doing the sticky, he becomes traumatized and starts to hate Zohan for it. Zohan takes it to heart, so he walks out on Gail to communicate with Michael about how what he was doing was naturally okay. He also suggests popping Michael's cherry, to which Gail agrees immediately. Hence, in order to do so, Zohan takes Michael to a disco club and helps him pick out a girl to do the sticky with. Poor Michael takes Zohan's bold advice and starts grinding on a woman Zohan had picked out for him. His bizarre move is seen as a perverted act, due to which he gets tossed out of the club by the security guard. On the other hand, Zohan gets spotted by an old acquaintance named Uri from Israel. Zohan tries his best to cloak himself. He also gives him a new name, Scrappy Coco, but that name certainly doesn't fool Uri. Zohan tries to get rid of him, but Uri keeps tagging along with him on his quest to find a job at a saloon. He gets kicked out of a black people's saloon for mistaking their dreadlocks for a living creature. He also gets kicked out of a kid's salon for saying something vile to a kid before a haircut. He finally loses hope of finding his dream job and visits Uri at his workplace, a scummy electronics store run by an Israeli man. Uri convinces Zohan to start working at the store, but Zohan finds it devastating and says no immediately. Soon, Uri shows Zohan some online clips of Phantom running his dream shawarma stall in America because no one other than Zohan could capture him. Zohan becomes jealous to see his nemesis pursue his dreams, so he does the unthinkable. He shows up at a Palestinian saloon for a job. The owner of the saloon happens to be a beautiful woman named Dahlia, who nicely rejects Zohan because she doesn't earn enough to hire staff. Zohan does random push-ups to show he has got the skills and later offers to work for Dahlia for free for the sake of experience. Dahlia puts him on a practice week first, so he practices haircuts every chance he gets. He cuts Gail's hair at home and fake hair at the salon. Uri also helps him get side gigs to make some bucks. He works for a limo company at night and recklessly drives rich people around town. On his first day as a hairdresser, he gets an old woman as his first client. He starts this tradition where he not only cuts old women's hair, but he also does the sticky with them, which creates a line of desperate old women outside Dahlia's saloon, eventually growing her sales and profit margin. As things are going well for Zohan, Salim spots him one day. He immediately gathers his homies and plans to abduct Zohan so they can trade him with the Israeli government for a big reward. Meanwhile, Zohan goes on a picnic with Dahlia and finds out that her brother hates Israelis. The next day Salim sends one of his friends to the saloon to confirm Zohan's identity. In contrast, Zohan starts having trouble doing the sticky, which has him worried. He even visits the doctor to find out what's wrong with him, but the doctor guarantees that he is doing fine. The same night, Zohan hangs out at Gail's place with Uri, who almost blows his cover of being an Israeli soldier. That night Gail is quick to assume that he has fallen for Dahlia, due to which he has lost interest in other women. On the other hand, Salim and his men decide to make a bomb from scratch and blow up the saloon Zohan is working at to lure him out. Due to language and cultural barriers, they head to a dispensary and ask for liquid nitrogen. The shopkeeper mistakes their words for a hemorrhoid cream, and sells them that instead. The next day, Zohan arrives at the saloon to find Dahlia paying extra rent to the people of the saloon owner and complaining about them constantly spiking her rent to lure her out of the building so they can tear it down to make a new mall. She doesn't want her community destroyed, so she keeps paying the extra rent. Zohan finally realizes he has fallen for Dahlia, so he clearly communicates his feelings with her without getting a response from her. The following night, Salim and his men throw the cream on the saloon door, thinking it will explode, but it doesn't. Zohan brings the blob of cream home and finds out from Gail that it is used to treat genital sores. Uri also joins them that night and flirts with Gail, which makes Michael uncomfortable. Zohan still takes the cream bomb as a threat and takes part in the neighbor guarding at night. Zohan ends up witnessing the building owner's goons writing curse words with spray paint outside their saloon, so he goes down and gives them the beating of their lives while simultaneously dancing and chilling. This news reaches the building owner, a business tycoon, who wishes to exterminate the pest-like immigrants and open up a fancy hotel to increase the market value of that area. On the contrary, the Palestinian shopkeepers also find vile graffiti outside their shops. They blame the Israeli electronics store, but Zohan intervenes and tells them what he witnessed during the community watch hours at night. As days pass, Salim gives up on capturing Zohan and contacts Phantom to do the job for him in exchange for free yogurt and a pee-pee touch from one of his wives, to which Phantom agrees. As Phantom starts practicing his moves and makes his way to Zohan's town, his intentions make it to the daily newspaper. Uri makes Zohan aware of the newspaper article, seeing which Zohan starts to worry, as he just wanted to live peacefully and start fresh. He returns home and shares his problems with Gail, who suggests coming clean to Dahlia to gain her trust. Zohan agrees to her and tells Dahlia the truth the next day. The following night, Phantom arrives at the music event that the saloon owner is hosting. Phantom takes pleasure in meeting the music guest, Mariah Carey. Zohan interrupts them and begins fighting Phantom, but he gets away. Simultaneously he gets a call from Michael, who informs him about the gruesome feud between the Israelis and Palestinians, which is obviously triggered by Dahlia's landlord. Phantom and Zohan arrive there at the same time and pick a fight with one another. Dahlia comes between them and reveals that she's Phantom's sister. She tries to knock some sense into them and reminds them who the bigger enemy is. Suddenly, Zohan clocks some American goons of the landlord, who are disguised as Arab sheikhs. For once, Phantom and Zohan join hands and engage in a comical combat to beat the living hell out of the landlord's goons. At last, they turn them over to the cops and clear out the misunderstanding between the Palestinian and Israeli brothers, who all begin living in peace and harmony as American immigrants. At the end of the film, Zohan finally becomes a professional hairstylist, and his parents give him a surprise visit, even though they don't accept his new profession.
Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps like that.